How I relate to a body of water can be very diverse, mainly depending on whether I am just using the memory of a specific source of water, whether I am really physically there.
I practice in a physical presence of the body of water, very often by the ocean.
I'm usually in the physical presence of the body of water I'm working with, and I usually pick it visually.
This can also be that I am seeing it from afar, so I don't have to be very close to it, I don't have to be able to actually touch it, but it's just that I'm there in the moment, in the same moment that the water is there.
I'm putting myself through an experience, something like swimming or simply walking, being, observing.
I spend quite a lot of time looking.
It's either a very visual approach where I would just observe.
I'm focusing on my breath and I'm focusing on what I'm seeing.
Any specific shapes, which other beings might be there, observing the environment. I think it plays a big role, how the environment is also influencing the water, observing textures.
There is a lot of information in the body of water and in the landscape itself. And this is always becoming part of the poem together with my current emotional state.
It's always either one or the other. Either I focus on one specific aspect I see. For instance, it could be like a twig that's swimming on the water surface, and it's how the water wraps around the wood, or the very specific angle of the twig in the water, how the body reacts to that, maybe any emotions that come up.
It's really important for me to be physically close to the body of water, as close as being inside of it.
I would start my movement stream of consciousness from visual physical qualities of the specific body of water.
Taking this aspect, this picture that I see in front of me, and consciously placing it into a body part. So for instance, placing it into my left knee.
If there are waves, that maybe this would invite waving movement.
Then it could also be that I'm not working with a specific focus and really just with the very broad and entire image.
Sometimes I dance for a couple of minutes and then I write afterwards. But it also happens that if I don't feel like dancing and I already have a lot of thoughts in my head just from the experience of being by the body of water, I can write just out of this experience.
It awakens some kind of like memories.
When I'm only using memory, then I always find it interesting to see how the memory might be influenced and altered.
I like to touch the water, touch the rocks.
Just physically interact with it by manipulating it, touching it, tasting it.
And the times that I used something else, like a tea or a coffee.
There was a time that I've been working like with tea and coffee and other like drinkable liquids, then I would actually have them in my mouth.
It means that I'm also drinking these liquids.
And working with their taste.
And then it's a kind of feedback that is created. So I manipulate the water, but then also the water is manipulating the body. Today, when I was on a walk with my dog, I passed by this puddle on the ground, and it was a very shallow puddle, but the water was super clear and you could see the asphalt below, and there was actually a piece of metal embedded in the asphalt. And this aspect of the very specific three qualities, so the clear water, the shiny metal, and the gritty asphalt, these three qualities I took home with me.
I would start to move, first standing, recalling the visual memory again, but also the atmosphere of the place.
When you think about these qualities, instantly there is some bodily reaction to it, or maybe some place in your body you will feel them.
When I'm standing in front of the lake, then I would also think about the lake in my pelvis, or anything that could physically connect our waters.
With the puddle I just mentioned, I instantly felt it in my lower back.
What's funny, I often use the writing practice as an excuse for myself to go somewhere in the nature to be close to a body of water.